Welcome back to the channel, everyone. My name is Billy Yeagerburg, and today we're going to be talking about one of, if not the greatest ending in AOT, and that would, of course, be the most famous Child of Evil. Not Devil's Child, by the way. Don't let anyone tell you that. It's Child of Evil. Okay, 87, Akuma whatever you want to call it. Child of Evil. Now, this song has been hijacked, as you know, by the Hope Chats. And it's also been hijacked by ending defenders and haters as well. I think the problem with us EDs is that we don't really analyze the songs. Like, we leave all that stuff to Tenza. And so when Tenza starts to analyze songs, we get bad interpretations, of course. I feel like we need a proper ED interpretation of this song. So this song is actually a Yeagerburg EM song. Yes, Akuma no Ko is an Yeagerburg Eren and Mikasa song. So I'm just going to go in and we're going to go through a couple of key lines of dialogue and monologue in the song, and I'm going to show you exactly what this song is really about. Okay, so whenever he took these actions, like killing the kidnappers, killing Marley, well, not Marley, but you know what I mean, he was even, and also this also applies to the Titans as well. When he's killing Titans, he is being hailed as a hero. He's being praised for these actions. Now, which is interesting, because the interpretation of this is that my interpretation is that the consequences of the actions were positive. Killing sex traffickers, awesome consequences. Killing Titans, great consequences. Killing Marley, depends on who you ask, but overall, there's a paradigm which those are positive. However, and as you can see in the next line, he knows that him and the devil were no different. This is a thought translation. What he actually says is something like me and the devil have the same temperature. But, that takes an extra step to then take that poetic line and then translate it. Okay, same temperature means it's because he's like the devil. And honestly, this is just a wild theory. She might have said temperature because to keep the syllable count. I don't know. Maybe that's why. Maybe it's just poetic. Maybe temperature means something in Japanese. I don't know. But the point is that he's saying he took these actions that were justice, as you saw, and he was hailed as a hero for it. But then he realized that he was no different than the devil. The lament the fate you're born could call free. Interesting. Again, this takes a lot of complexities. But if you look at AOT, which the future is set in stone. Nothing can be changed, right? So that brings us to the question of, do we have free will? And so there is fate. Sasha was fated to die, as you could say. Eren was fated to do the rumbling. That does not mean that we do not have any free will. This song, of course, says that we are all free, and in 1/3 of the actual manga itself. Not that this has something to do with canon, but if you want to use the manga, he says everything's set in stone at the start, but everything happened by my will. In fact, as I've always said, the future is set in stone, yes, but it is inscribed by the character's will. So their free will is what sets the future in stone. And I bring this example up all the time. I was fated not to eat a mayonnaise sandwich today. Why? I hate mayonnaise, and my environment did not force me to eat mayonnaise. Therefore, due to my nature and the extenuating circumstances, it was already set in stone since I woke up that I was not going to have any mayonnaise today. This is a simple example. Okay, another great line here. If I had wings like birds, I could go anywhere. But if I had no one to go home to, actually, let's forget the exact line here. If I don't have a place to return to, I'm sure I can't go anywhere. This is setting up for the next line. The line we all know is coming, right? So he's saying, if I had wings like a bird, if I had the physical requirements, the physical attributes for freedom, hint, hint, wink, wink. Obviously, that's referring to the Marley and oppression being gone. I can fly anywhere. But if I had no place to return to, I'm going to say that's a wife or, someone he loves because of the next line. Secondly, what else could it mean? I would love to hear, if you think I'm wrong, if you think I'm crazy, which I'm sure It's very, very possible I might be misinterpreting something, but if you think that I'm wrong, I would love a different interpretation in the comments. But anyways, seeing how we have the next line, and seeing how we have the entirety of Eren's character to go back on, I would say when he means a place to return to, as in home. What's associated with home? Mikasa, home, right? So he's still not free, even though he has wings like a bird. And in the video, as you can see there, the cage is coming up. So he has a bird. He's a physical requirements for freedom, but even though he has those physical requirements for freedom, there's still a cage around him. And I cut it out. But when he says the world is cruel, but I still love you, that is when the cage disappears. Interesting. Meaning that Mikasa is his freedom. Again, this is my interpretation of the song. I'm not saying because the song said this means this. I would love to really stress that. If I'm saying this equals this, I'm not saying because the song said it, this equals this. I'm saying the song is absolutely 100% relevant to the canon, and we also have the manga as well. So that's what I'm saying. So please don't think that I'm using this as like hard evidence. But anyway, yes. So that's when the cage goes away. When he mentions Mikasa, the world is cruel, but I still love you. Now, to this day, I don't understand why Eren, Hisu, Hope Chads love to bring this song up. I mean, I know why abandoned parodies, but still, this thoroughly destroys any sort of Eren, Hisu connection whatsoever. Obviously, it's about Mikasa. And notice again, the world is cruel, but I still love you. Not just as he's using Mikasa's phrase, but he's saying, I have these things that could limit my freedom, so to speak. I have this thing and this thing and this thing. But besides all of that, in spite of that, I can still be happy, 137, because I love you. I'll sacrifice anything to protect you. Now, the word he uses here for you is kimi, which is you, which means you, as in a single person, you. If I was talking to a friend of mine, I would say kimi. This is not referring to a country or a people or a race or a group of people. This is referring to a singular person in the informal sense. You, kimi. I love this line. Anytime someone argues with me on Twitter and says that I'm wrong, I always love to quote them this. All right, what I was writing is believe in myself strongly. This is the whole thing of, he's getting mixed with the memories and, the situation with Paradis. And so he basically says what he says in season 1. And I think that's an anime only scene where he says, something along the lines of, you can't hope for a horror story with a happy ending, just fight or just kill, something like that. He's basically saying, yeah, I could be wrong, but in order to keep myself centered and grounded, believe myself strongly is the right thing to do. So that's the end of the TV version. Now, what some people may not know is that there's actually an extended version that has even more in it. Now, I said at the beginning of this video that it was a Yeagerburg Eren and Mika song. So you heard a lot of Eren and Mika, a bit of Yeagerburg, but in this extended version, we're going to go straight into the Yeagerburg part of the song that is not in the TV version. Okay, war is stupid violence is of an unknown and unrelated country, so why do I hate them? Interesting. I was told, I don't know about you, but I was told Eren did the rumbling only because to save Paradis and only because it was completely necessary. But here, it appears like he's saying that it's of an unknown country, and it's stupid, and so he's asking himself, why does he hate them? And I'm going to continue. I'm going to explain this when we get to the more lines. Okay, so he's saying he cannot explain his dark feelings and he's full of contradictions. So, going back to the beginning of the song, the violent impulses that he has, I wouldn't really say it's violent. I mean, I think violence is a byproduct of it, but he has these desires, these impulses that are evil. And so he wants to do this. He wants to he hates the countries and he wants to kill people because of that. That's what the song that's what the song is saying. Listen to this. This is the end of the song. This is the end of the song. What she leaves to wrap everything up. The shadow of the person whom I chose, the corpse of what I threw. This relates back to, I think, what's not 70? It's 68, something like that. Midnight Sun, I believe was what it was, is when Eren said he gave up on that dream a long time ago. So he initially used to have a pure dream, unadulterated. Just, I want to see the ocean, I want to be free. But then it got corrupted. He said he gave up on that dream, and then he became dark and bitter about things, right? So here he is rereading that. A shadow of the person whom I chose, a corpse of what I threw. So he abandoned his old self, his old innocent pure self, and he took on this other part of him that is evil and wrong. I noticed that what is growing inside me is a child of evil. Interesting. Again, this is what I said. I did a little sneak peek in my Eren character analysis. I bring this up. He didn't wake up overnight. Like none of us think that he just woke up one night and it was like, okay, I'm going to be an evil mass murderer. No, it's exactly as she describes here. There is a child of evil growing, festering inside of him for legitimate and illegitimate reasons. Legitimate and not legitimate. So there's legitimate reasons for him to be bitter. Well, there's never a reason to be bitter, but you know what I mean. There's reasons where you'd be like, okay, that makes sense why you would be mad about that. But there's also, non-legitimate reasons, like Armin's book, for example. So he realized during this whole adventure, wanting to kill every last one of those animals on this earth, they were the Titans, killing the sex traffickers, and then eventually the Rumbling. Throughout this, he became more and more bitter, and he realized that inside him was a child of evil. And the other thing that I like is about this song is that it's referred to as the child of evil. Now, children are, again, I'm repeating some stuff I said in my character analysis, so a little sneak peek, there you go. Now, children are usually associated with innocence, right? The babies and, from this pureness and innocence. But there is a sense in which children represents evil, and that would be petulance. That is about the only time where children represent evil. Why she uses a child, in my opinion, my interpretation of this, is because Eren's main sin, one of the main reasons why he did the Rumbling was simply petulance. As we see in 131, the world is not as exactly as he wanted it to be. Again, we know it's to save the island. I'm not talking about that part. But the other part, where it was not empty, it was not devoid of human beings. He could not contend with that disappointment, and so since he had the power to contort reality to his wishes, he did it. Again, I'm not here to argue and make points. I'm simply to give my interpretation of this song. You could just, if you disagree with me, please feel free. You can leave a comment. I'll debate you. You can watch my Yeagerburg videos. There's plenty of things you can do. But I'm not trying to prove Yeagerburg right now. I'm saying this is the interpretation of the song. Okay. So anyway, that being said, that is why she uses the child to symbolize the evil. And that's why, of course, she's a child in 131, 133, and for the first half of 139. Right? Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. The artist, she really did good here. This is talking about Eren's multifaceted motivations. Yes, we know he cared about Paradis. Yes, we know he sacrificed himself for Paradis and for his friends and for Mikasa. But regardless of that, there's also an evil, wrong, inexcusable motivation that drove what he did in chapter 6 and what he did in 122. There was legitimate reasons for justice, as in, again, he's punishing Marley for the oppression, sacrifice, the emotional sacrifice of killing those people, and of course he eventually died to end the curse of Ymir. But besides all of that, again, it was because he was petulant. He was evil. And so this song says all of that. That is the true meaning of this song. It is a love letter to Mikasa about how Mikasa is truly freedom for him. And on top of that, it is a Yeagerburg song about how he did the Rumbling for his own sick, twisted, inexcusable purposes. Well, that's it. I try to keep it short. Keep the key lines of dialogue in there. If you want to join the Sentinel Solar Skill Sentinel Scholar Syndicate. Like and subscribe, join the server, and I'll see you next video.